Well, joining me for a closer look at what's played out on the market scene today is Graeme Franck from PSG Wealth Sandton-Grayston. Hi, Graeme. Good to chat to you. It's been quite a day. I see the all share sort of up for a while, then down for a while, but then there was Redefined Properties and some good results there. So what's been driving the market today?
Yeah, as you say, I mean, it's been very volatile. Resources, as you well know, over the last little while has been very much up and down, but no real direction today. To be perfectly honest with you, golds were down. Golds were down quite a bit today, which dragged the index lower. Outside of that, and Anglo-American was a little bit down, but the rest of the sector is actually having a half decent day. We can talk about Redefine as well. Yeah, they came out with some decent results. I looked earlier. The dividend yield, should I say, is about 8 to 8.2%. So fairly good there. The shares have bounced quite nicely, and they've came out with a net asset value per share. Let's just get this right, of around 8.16. So it's trading at about, the share price, even despite the bounce today, is still trading at about a 32% discount to NAV. So, probably looking for some value in the market, but a sigh of relief with those results.
Yeah. What else have you been watching? There's Altron, there's Centoya as well. There have been some sort of beacons of, of shine, I suppose you can put it that way.
Yeah, so Centova is a logistics company. They are quite a small cap company, but have done very well, extremely well managed, came out with decent results. The share price didn't really react, but they have had quite a good run recently. But as I say, very much logistics involved with the ports, moving goods around, and a lot of their earnings come from offshore. So that's been good. And the other one that came out today was Pepkor, obviously very much at the low end from a clothing perspective. Funnily enough, we have quite a debate internally at PSG as to whether to pick Pepkor or Mr. Price. Both are extremely well-managed clothing businesses servicing the lower end of the market. And as you will well know, the macro headwinds for the consumer here in South Africa has been very, very big. So Pepkor came out with good results. The share price did nicely, not fantastically, but it was up 1 or 2% when I last looked. And they tend to go toe-to-toe with Mr. Price, both in terms of earnings, market share, and share price. And then the last one, Altron. We don't look at Altron too carefully. They've discontinued quite a few of their operations. Share price was down 8%. The problem with Altron is it's also quite an illiquid share, so you can't really glean too much into the share price movement. But yeah, certainly some disappointment there, despite headline earnings per share being up about 22% year on year.
Yeah. So I want to talk about rand weakness as well. The rand down today against the dollar, also the pound. What's driving this? I mean, we've had gold up on the one hand and our currencies down on the other. What's happening behind the scenes? Is it all about Trump and going off to China? What's happening?
Pretty much spot on. Yeah. I mean, the dollar's been strong, not necessarily the rand weak. The rand's had a great run. Not even, I think it was 18 months ago, we were looking at 1940, 1950 to the rand, and there was a chance that it would break, on the downside, break the 17 handle and have a 16 handle on it. So I think just a bit of a bounce back from the 1710s that it was at a few days ago. And yeah, Trump cozying on up to China, and maybe there'll be a deal there, and dollar strength at the moment.
But is this here to stay? I mean, I looked at Asian markets this morning, and Asian markets looked, they were quite robust at one point as well. But is it just part of a seesaw? Because not many people are seeing that this sort of cozying up to China is going to work for so long. It's just a temporary measure.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, I've said on the program a couple of times, Trump tariffs has been a geopolitical event that has driven markets. My fundamental view is that China wins every time, despite the fact that they are a much smaller economy, for the simple reason that they're a communist-based economy. And with all due respect to the Americans, they're not going to live on a slice of bread and some water when the going gets tough. And also remember, we've got midterm elections coming in the US next year. And whatever Trump does, he has to do now, because the closer you get to midterms, the more he's going to have to yield to outside nations. Otherwise, he risks a recession in his economy, and that's never good for an incumbent presidency in America. So, yeah, I mean, the problem with geopolitics is it's just notoriously impossible to predict, be it Trump, be it the war in the Middle East, be it Russia, Ukraine, and COVID. I would put COVID in there as well. That's been the cause of all the volatility that we've seen over the last 5 or 6 years, not actually macro fundamental valuation-based movements in markets.
Yeah, it's interesting. It really is. I suppose it's something we're going to have to just watch. What is your stock pick? What is the one equity that you're watching at the moment and you're thinking to yourself, this one's going somewhere?
So I'm going to go for quite boring, but for Standard Bank. We tend to go for the blue chips in the sector. And as I think I mentioned off air, the rise in the market has very much been about resources, NASPAs, and non-SA Inc. shares. Standard Bank's trading on a price earnings multiple of about 9 times. Earnings is coming through and growing, a dividend yield of about 6%. And when I looked at the most disappointing shares relative to our target prices as PSG, almost without exception, they SA Inc. shares. So that's Sasol, Mr. Price, Bidvest, ABSA, those type of shares. And we think, there's still value at that end of the market. So yeah, I'm going to pick Standard Bank tonight, Ray.
Standard Bank it is. Graeme, thank you so much for taking the time to discuss the markets with us. Tomorrow is another day. That was Graeme Franck from PSG Wealth Sandton-Grayston.